What is up, everybody? Another episode of the Nerdy Brigade. Today with me I have...
Donald.
And Scott.
And Brody.
And welcome you all to our second to last of the childhood marathon. This is Donnie's last movie, and UHF. Now, before we get on to the predictions, I do want to ask how you came to watch this in your childhood, Donnie.
This was my brother is a huge fan of Weird Al, and this is basically Weird Al's movie. So
Okay.
I ended up watching it vicariously just because he watched it a lot.
Oh, okay. So how many times do you think you've watched this movie before today?
Oh, I don't know. I think probably around 5 times with him, and then like 3 times without him.
Wow, that's quite a lot.
But yeah, my brother is such a big fan of Weird Al. He's organized a screening of this movie at a movie theater, and got like all the fucking Weird Al heads to come and do this.
Jeez.
He served Twinkie Wiener sandwiches, which are in the movie.
I
It
know
is
about
like
those, yeah.
like he served them at the venue, which was crazy.
That definitely is something that I would expect Donnie's brother to do.
But yeah, like he's not the biggest fan of Weird Al, but
Oh,
he has a
really?
he has a podcast with the biggest fan of Weird Al. So
What?
yeah, he's like insane with this. So
So I'm
that's
really
why
glad
I watched this movie.
if we give
He's the second biggest
he's
fan.
the second, so he's yeah. So here's my thing: if we give this movie a D, you really gotta send this to him. All right, so he can
Oh,
so he can come to my house and actually murder me. So okay, with that all out of the way, not as impressive as your Lego clutch power, but I don't think anybody can beat that. So let's get on to our predictions. So Donnie, as you're the person with the most experience, you can talk first.
Really funny, and I think that I would put it. I thought it was funnier than Rush Hour, and I think it's just a better movie than Gemini Man. So I'm gonna put it below 6 Degrees of Separation in A tier. I really think it's a funny movie.
So all I have on this movie is funny movie. I like funny movie. I'm totally down to watch funny movie. Judging by the cover, it looks like funny movie. It kind of gives me the vibe of Ben Stiller from Dodgeball, which I quite enjoyed. So I will put this. I really think it's gonna be that high. I think I'm gonna predict this above Spies in Disguise.
I mean, if you say it's funny, above Cruella.
Alrighty. As for me, from what I know about UHF, I knew like it's a modern, like not modern. It's like a '90s comedy film, as far as I'm aware. And I also, while looking up the film, like just to make sure I got the name right or some shit, I don't remember what the hell I was looking it up for. I figured out it was. I read like the first 2 pages, the first 2 lines of the plot description, and it's like about a guy who's lost his job again or something like that. That's all I know. So I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to really. I don't know why I was kind of worried about going into this film, but at first, but now I'm like all ready for it because I am definitely looking forward to like a corny '90s comedy. And I don't think this will be like too raunchy or anything like that. And I'm gonna probably agree with the general spectrum of low B to bottom A. Just because I'm a big fan of Rush Hour 2, I will put it one lower. But it'll probably be better because Rush Hour 2 really isn't that good.
Just one more thing to prepare you guys going into it. There's like a music video in the beginning,
What?
and it's weird and out of place. And that's like one of the only bad things I remember about this movie.
There's a music.
So
Is it-
don't be shocked. It's like just
Is it as bad
it's
as
not even a
Wild
good
Wild
it's not even a good music video. It's just kind of it is like weird and out of place. Like we could skip it and the movie would make complete sense.
West?
Yeah.
We have to watch it.
We do have to watch it as God intended.
As prager you intended.
True.
Alrighty, so with all of our predictions out of the way now, we're going to watch the movie on our own time. Again, if you want to if you want to know what we're talking about in our reviews, you can go watch it on your own time as well and come back, or you could just listen to us ramble about random bullshit. It is a podcast after all. So yeah, let's get moving on to the movie, and we'll be back with our raw reviews. Wow.
Bye.
See you later, fucker.
Alrighty, so we just finished watching UHF, and now it's time for our raw reviews. Again, it's raw reviews, we just finished watching it, so some things we say may not be most logical or the most valid critical critiques, but we are going to do our best regardless to try and give this a fair opinion. As for who is first to give their opinion, Scott, you're up, and you get to pick the order afterwards. Alright, so let us go.
Okie dokie. Now, I think I could have guessed more about this movie by looking at its thumbnail. It was a very similar, I think, anyway, Tyler hit it kind of right on the head in saying in his prediction that it was going to be similar to Rush Hour 2, that kind of genre of movie. And I think he was exactly right. I don't really know what that genre is, but obviously not like a Jackie Chan movie, but like that fucking goofy kind of like slapstick kind of movie, which I do not have very much experience with watching. I really liked Rush Hour 2, and I did quite enjoy this movie. I didn't. I mean, that beginning scene with the whole Indiana Jones thing was a bit of a throw for a loop, but I guess that's par for the course for the movie. I think overall it's honestly pretty solid. The plot is it's easy to follow. It's simple enough, so that it's not like confusing at all. But it's also interesting and it keeps moving. I think this movie is paced very well. I have no idea how long it was because it didn't feel long. But it's 11:30, so it was a decent length. I think it was just pretty good. I think the main George character, um, I think he does very well. I do quite like how he's kind of the. I guess that's the whole movie's vibe. But I do quite like his whole like daydream shit. Like that Rambo one close to the end was fucking hilarious. And it has those sprinkled in throughout it, which I think is really funny. And it definitely, I mean, the whole movie's supposed to be goofy, and that really just helps it out. That I think that's a cool touch. I think that's pretty unique. The janitor character, I thought at first when he showed up, he was I thought at first he was going to be just like a throwaway character. And then when he got like hired or whatever, I thought he was just going to be like a background character or like the dumb guy to make fun of. I guess to an extent he was the dumb guy to make fun of, but he was also like, I don't know, funny in a dumb way. That's a lot of this movie. But I think that character was played pretty well, especially in the scene where he gets kidnapped in the car. And just overall, I think he's pretty good. Pretty darn good. And then the main villain guy is like very stereotypical douchebag, magnanimous rich dude. Yeah, I mean, everything in this movie, I can't really like pick out any big like flaws with it, which is pretty cool. Coming off of Spaceballs wasn't terrible, but we've been on a bit of a low sling. But no, I think everything in this movie, plot wise and characters wise, works remarkably well. There was that music video thing that Donnie you warned us about towards the beginning, but I honestly didn't even. I mean, it was a break and it was weird, but I think it really fit with the vibe of the movie and his whole like daydream shit. Although I have no idea what the hell the Roblox ass whatever that was. I mean, it was pretty funny, but God knows what was going on there. Um, yeah, remarkably solid. Again, I think the plot was perfectly fine. It does exactly what it needs to do for this kind of movie. Um, I think most of the jokes hit pretty well. Uh, Although there were a couple scenes like on the TV set and whatever. Maybe it was bit by design to make them like awkward and whatever, but some of that felt like it dragged a little bit. Um, there were a lot of just like little pieces of this movie that I liked. I'm just thinking right now about the at the end where the scientist alien dude like uses the power of 5G to rat out the evil radio station guy. Um, I don't know. I thought that was just a not even cool, but it was a nice scene. I enjoyed that scene. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton of specific stuff. I didn't watch this movie like too critically. This was a really good movie to just kind of sit back and enjoy. Um, and I did quite enjoy it. I don't really like going first because I don't tend to remember a lot of shit, and I tend to kind of get a better sense for the movie itself from what you guys say. Uh, so I'm definitely looking forward to arguing and shooting each other in the face after reviews because that's always the best part. Tier placement wise, I really could go anywhere. I think our predictions were pretty much on the spot from high B to low A. Um, I think I think for now I'm gonna go a little bit on the low side and I'm gonna put it top of B tier. Um, but I can totally go a little bit higher with this. I quite enjoyed the movie. I liked the goofiness. I liked the characters for the most part. Uh, Pretty good. Pretty easy on the eyes. Pretty funny. Good movie. Uh, let's hear it, Brody.
This is a Brody movie. This is a Brody movie. I love the kind of I like this kind of structure of movie a lot. Um, it's very like sporadic. I love just little bits. Little bits are like great for me. I kind of like how they tie into the plot too. A lot of them. Some like Raoul's like Great Big Animal show or whatever don't, but like others like actually do like some of the scenes with the mafia guys. I guess they just the transitions in this movie are very well put. Nothing's really too jarring or out of place. Um, I feel like most, if not all, the jokes land pretty well. Um, Plot wise, it's like a nice little feel good movie. Like, oh, the little guy did it. The characters are, characters. I don't really know what to say about the characters in this movie. They're not like exceptional, but you have the big angry businessman. You have the imaginative up underdog, and his sidekick, and then you have like wacky goofy guy. Those are like the real four guys of this movie. Oh, and don't forget the secretary. That's just stereotypical secretary. Um, What else? I don't know. I just really liked this film. I think this is a very good watch for like just anyone really. Although, maybe not like super young kids. It's got that PG-13 rating probably by now. But, whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about. I agree with the top of B placement. Because I feel like it's nearly A, but it's not quite. It's kind of, it's a solid average, a little above average movie that I think anyone can really get enjoyment out of. That's all.
Yeah, I really like this movie. I think that it was very cheesy in the 80s. Um, there's like a very mustache twirly bad guy who runs a big business, and um, the plot is very just simple and basic. It's not trying to go for anything extraordinary, but I think what the real gold of this movie is kind of how they implement sketch comedy into a movie format, which is make the movie about TV and have the experience of transitions like you're flipping through TV channels. And it's something I really haven't seen before, except in like probably like that interdimensional cable show of Rick and Morty, where you're just kind of flipping through the channels. It's very similar to that. I don't think it's as funny as that, but it's a funny show. I like this movie. Like some of my favorite skits were Gandhi 2, Raoul's Pet Shop when he makes the poodles fly. Um, Wheel of Fish was also really good. Anyone where the dojo shows anywhere where the dojo shows up is pretty funny. Not everything hits. I think like the business guy's son is really dopey and doesn't really is trying to be funny but isn't. Um, but there's just a lot of stuff that makes me grin. Like when the kid just gets blasted by the fire hose is it's a moment that I love from my childhood. Um Man, it is a big nostalgia seeing this again. Um yeah, characters are decent. They're nothing special. You don't have like a whole lot of stuff. You know, I think the romance is handled fine. Um, you know, it, all in all, it was generally a fine movie. There wasn't like it wasn't like out of this world, a S tier, but I felt like it was really funny and I had a good time with it. You guys rating it top of B tier is kind of crazy, I would say. I was gonna put it above Planet of the Apes. I mean, I like this movie; it's really funny, but for me, it's just a little basic and cheesy. It's fun. It's cheesy and fun, but all in all, I think you know it was okay. It was an '80s movie. Tyler, you go.
All right. So can I just state something? I am absolutely fucking floored right now. You gotta be shitting. Okay, so I I was 100% sure that I was gonna have to deal with Donnie placing this film the highest out of everybody here, but he's the one who actually liked it the least. That is, and I was gonna say I was gonna open up my review and be like, your entire opinion is worthless, Donnie, because you referenced Rick and Morty in your review. But you actually placed it in a place I was somewhat comfortable with. Okay, but so here's the thing. My review for UHF is going to be quite negative, mostly because a lot of the people have been focusing on the positives of this film. And I'm not saying that y'all have been all positives, but Scott saying that he doesn't really have that many flaws or whatever the fuck. I'm being a bit of an asshole. But regardless, man, I know this movie's good, but I wasn't having a good time watching it for a bit. So, okay, let me get this out of the way here. So this is another one of those like pure insanity type films, but it works out a lot better than like this movie because the plot actually allows for that insanity to be pretty valid. All of those weird little skits and whatnot, like Donnie. I'm also a little mad at Donnie because he stole what I was gonna fucking say. Because I was gonna mention the fact that the TV type, the TV storyline, the fact that the aesthetic that they're going for allows them to be incredibly creative with what skits they want to present. And you know, this is the type of film that can have a random ass music video about a cowboy finding an oil fountain. Maybe I don't really know, but the point of it is that basically this entire movie, like the corny actual story with the characters and all that stuff, like that's all fine and good. It's pretty simplistic. It's fun. I like the villain. I just like how I like his standard evilness. I like how this film manages to be pretty funny without being like overly raunchy with like swear words. Like they hardly swear at all. I think it's a perfectly suitable movie to show to like elementary fifth graders or middle school kids or something like that. It works out fine. I just like there's a lot of passion that I can feel in this movie, but for me, dude, I just was not laughing, like, at all. There were moments that got me to smirk or to chuckle, like the kid getting hit by the water hose, or the fucking Gandhi, but there were also moments that made me really uncomfortable, like when the guy was tossing dogs out the window, or when the guy cut his finger off with the saw blade, and I was like, okay, well, alright then, man. And I think my biggest issue with the movie is that there's just a midpoint where it's literally just like a bunch of skits, one after another. Like, here's a skit, here's another skit, here's another skit. It's just, I wasn't finding them very funny, and the story was very basic. I was like, man, I'm not having a good time right now. I think I'm gonna have to rank this movie, like, very, very low. I was even thinking D tier at one point. I was having such a not good time. But things really do start picking up again once the plot actually comes back. And it starts getting a bit interesting with them having forced to pay out the money and the antagonist getting more involved. Like, things get more dynamic as things go along, and it's not just random ass skits. Again, I'm not too mad at the randomness and the insanity of this film because they implement it in a way that's actually quite interesting, but there's like only so much I can deal with. It's not nearly as bad as like the last bit of A Town Called Panic or anything like that. And I think this movie, like, I think this is another movie that's kind of similar to Spaceballs in the fact that it's just it's a crazy film that perfectly, just from its very nature, like Spaceballs is designed as a spoof, so it's allowed to be a little crazy, and this film's story setup allows it to be crazy as well. It's just how much do you enjoy those moments? I enjoy the moments in UHF far, far more. But even still, they're not like my favorites. I think it's everything everybody mentioned before. The characters are passable. The love subplot is like really just a non-factor. It wouldn't, if it wasn't in the movie, really wouldn't change all that much, to be honest with you. Villain's passable. I like the protagonist. I like the protagonist's buddy. I wish he was honestly in the film a bit more. And I like the crazy janitor guy, even though it's bullshit how he gets his power-up boost near the end of the film because he sees his mop again, but then he just leaves it. That's a little bullshit, man. Just saying. But...
Dude. That's why he got captured.
That's
He's
why he
2A with the mop, but only like 9B without it. Alright?
Alright, no, it's fair.
He wouldn't have been captured.
Mafia guys are low 2A as well. They have a higher reality warping. Nobody's gonna get this joke. Alright. Okay, but regardless, it's like, I don't know. At first, I was just not having a good time with this movie for a lot of it, but there's a lot of things to enjoy with it because, again, it's so creative and it has so many interesting aspects to it, and it just, again, it's a feel good time. It's very 80s. It's very enjoyable. I can see why UHF is considered a good movie, and even though as somebody who wasn't enjoying it for a large portion, I can't deny that it's a good movie. There are moments that I legitimately laughed at, like the whole Rambo scene in the final section, even though I knew it wasn't, I mean, as soon as the Rambo scene started, I'm like, oh, he's gonna daydream and he's not gonna work. But it doesn't really matter if I know what's gonna happen in the story. You know what's gonna happen in the story almost, like, the second everything happens. Like, I predict, but who cares? It's a predictable 80s feel-good movie, that's the point. There's like tons of little things here and there that made me giggle, tons of things here and there where I was like, it's just the nature of these zany movies. And one last thing I did want to address, though, the music video really is like, I agree with Scott how it's not that really different from a majority of the rest of the skits. I just wish the song was actually fucking good. If the song was actually good, I would be like, oh yeah, but the song is fucking dog shit and we don't even get to hear the full thing. I'm glad we don't get to hear the full thing because it's bad in the movie. But fuck it. It's whatever. In general, UHF is just a feels-good 80s movie. It's nothing fantastic, and honestly, its comedy can feel very, very hit or miss for a majority of its runtime. But thanks to its short length, good pacing, and relatively just, I don't know, just wholesome nature to it, it's just a pleasant movie to watch, which I think definitely lands it significantly in B tier. I definitely wasn't like laughing as hard as I was in the Men in Black films or Rush Hour 2 or anything like that, but I wasn't nearly as like invested in the characters as a majority of the A tiers either. It's just a passable good movie. And as for its placement, for me, I thought I was gonna be fucking insane for wanting to rank this below Cruella. But Donnie has opened the way for me. I kind of want to put this below Planet of the Apes or above, above or below. If you don't want to, if you don't think below is even remotely possible, Donnie, it's fine. I would just put it one above. I understand it's this fucking movie, but I'd put it there. This is not the end of the world if it moves up one space though. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Let's get on to the arguments. So Scotty, anything to say back?
I don't know. I'm not really gonna argue to put it higher. I definitely think what you said was fair. It was a weird movie. I think it did what it set out to do pretty well. It's not like a phenomenal movie. But I don't know. I felt like this movie hit all of the bases for what it was doing, and I don't know. I do see your complaints. I do understand those. And actually, yeah, honestly, like the fucking table saw scene was like, all right, this is unnecessary.
You could say that about every scene in this film. To be fair, you get like.
Well, yeah, but also like.
But also, you wouldn't want to
for the
cut out
most part.
Gandhi too.
Yeah, right. Like that's fun.
Yeah,
like I was like, I don't know. Some of the jokes that came up were just like kind of out of the blue and were entertaining. I don't know. I found it.
This whole movie to me feels like that the random alien reference at the end of Spaceballs, but actually good. Like just like 90% of the scenes in this film, I feel could be cut out if we're being honest, but a majority of them actually work, so it doesn't really matter all that much. And it's also like the film's aesthetic actually allows it to be a thing that happens, as opposed to when at the end of Spaceballs when those two scenes are just intrusive. So yeah, I don't know. 80s UHF is a pretty good 80s feel-good movie. I've got nothing else really to complain about it. The comedy didn't work for me all the time, and I think its current placement is fair. Although, as with Donnie said, I can move it up one more if it's really necessary.
You know, it would make me very happy to see that above Planet of the Apes.
And you're happy to see anything above Planet of the Apes.
Yes, and this movie is no exception.
I know. It's because you're stupid and wrong.
No.
Oh, you're fine. Brody, how do you feel?
Back me up, Brody, man.
You know, I mean, I can die on this hill. I've died on many hills, so I can die on this one.
Alright, what's the hill you're dying on?
At least above Cruella.
You've never seen that film.
Fuck you. Alright, fine. Whatever. Either above or below Cruella.
This is a Tyler Black Panther moment.
Yeah, but Brody at least hasn't seen any. And also, I was just doing that to fuck with Scott, but also because I think I'm right.
Yeah, but then you kept doing it, even after your opinion was debunked.
Well,
You still think you have a right to complain about it.
I'm gonna be right. It's not gonna be S tier.
You're not gonna be right.
What's not gonna be S tier?
Black Panther.
We're arguing about Black Panther during the UHF review.
During the UHF review. All
Oh,
right, fuck.
God.
All right, I vouch for my beat below, Donnie. You would have to be with me to secure that spot. You want to go above?
Oh, I'm
Above.
definitely going above fucking Planet of the Apes. Are you kidding me?
No.
This movie was I like this movie a lot more than Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I can say that.
Dipshit, of
Good
course
shit.
you could say that. You were putting it above a movie you've never seen.
Well, he
Well,
wants
yeah.
to put it above Awakens, and he has seen that, so that's fair.
That's fair.
Ooh.
Sorry,
Great.
above Force Awakens.
Yo,
So there's 2 votes for that, 1 vote for higher, 1 vote for lower. So that's where it is.
Yeah, no, I'll vote.
There we go.
I'll vote for that as well. I mean, like, yeah, no shit. This movie's more
Okey-doke.
enjoyable than Planet of the Apes. It's not like a fucking. It's not a feel-good comedy, but I do think it has more objective value. But that's like.
And that's where you're wrong.
I mean, Scott.
Well, is it r/atheism, Andy? What can we say? What can we say?
Bible burner. I mean, you're just like Donnie. You fucking. I don't know, man. The guy who like dogs getting thrown out of a window by a crazy whatever the fuck nationality that meant.
Oh, you
Dude,
know what
that
I
was
also
funny
really
as
you know
fuck.
what I also really liked when the fucking Karate Kid jumped out of the closet and said supplies.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let it be known these are all idiots. Nah, you're fine. It's a funny movie.
I just learned what UHF meant.
No, I had a good
Hey,
time.
wait, yeah. Is that like they said like UHF station or like TV? Is that something that
Ultra high
is
frequency station.
Ultra high frequency television. It's like
yeah.
local television.
Yeah, so it can
Okay.
only be accessed in like.
so it's
if,
just like
if
it's
Averill
just like
Park
an,
had its own TV channel, basically.
it's
Oh,
just like
or
an 80s
Renslayer.
vaporwave reference.
oof.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that is its current placement. I'm completely fine with that, honestly. So
You gotta bleep the town name, by the way. Donald just said.
gotta bleep the
Oh.
town name. What? Oh.
Donald just said a
Oh, because
bad.
we obviously live in Dallas, Texas.
Let's go.
Let's go!
We live in
Let's
we
go,
live in-
Cowboys.
Let's go,
made in
Cowboys!
Texas.
Yeah. Well, anyways, for all the people out there who are going to be tracking us down and murdering us, our addresses will be placed on the screen. But before you kill us, let us finish up the childhood marathon with our next episode, which will be the last one, which is my last movie, Cats vs. Dogs. Now, this film's gonna be quite terrible.
Ending it off on a banger.
Yeah.
I can't wait for
Yes,
this
the
movie.
dogs. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm very.
That you know that song's gonna be in there though.
It is.
It's gonna be in there.
And also, it's Jeff Goldblum. That's the best part about it.
Oh my God, is there?
Yes, I've said this every fucking time. Anyways.
I know, but I still get excited every time.
Alrighty, we will see
What
you
a
then
guy.
for Cats vs. Dog to end off the childhood marathon. See you then. Bye-bye.
They tracked me down. They found me, Tyler.